What is up, everybody? It is I, Ronin. I am back from what I was doing, so this should starting back strong with some 2019 Altergeist. So this was a oh hey, malware bites with a free update available. Check that later. So yeah, this was a request updated Altergeist list, and I'm not gonna lie, before going in this video, I really thought this was going to be just a absolute slog to do. I thought the deck would not be nearly as good as it ended up being. But then you remember that Altergeist has like 9 ways to get to Multi-Faker, and even without Multi-Faker, it still does something. But yeah, so this deck ended up being a lot better than I thought it was, thankfully. But let's go and get right into the deck profile. So for our monster lineup, it is mostly the same as you would have with a standard Altergeist list, sorry, with a few changes. So we have one Conquery, 3 Marionetter, 1 Multi-Faker, because that's all we can have, 3 Sangan, 3 Sequidius, 3 Melusik, and 1 Pixiel. So, yeah, you all probably know what these do, but just in case, I will go over their effects very quickly. Conquery special summons itself from your hand when your opponent declares an attack and you control a Altergeist card, and it lets you target and negate the effects of a face-up card while it is on the field. Marionetter, when it's normal summon, lets you set a Altergeist trap directly from your deck. It also lets you target a Altergeist card you control and a Altergeist monster in your graveyard. Send the Altergeist card from the field to the graveyard, and then you special summon the monster from your graveyard as a hard once return. This effect doesn't ever really come up, but it's kind of pretty good starter card. Multi-Faker, I'm sure you all know, but yeah, it's the best Altergeist, arguably. When you activate a trap card, it special summons itself from your hand. And when it is special summoned, or is it when it's special summoned? Yeah, when it's special summoned. You can special summon an Altergeist monster from your deck in defense position, except for yourself. You can't special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect except Altergeist monsters, and it is a hard once returned. You generally will use it to summon Sequidius, but we'll go over that in a second. Sangon, when it is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add a monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. However, you cannot activate cards or effects with that card's name for the rest of the turn. It's fine because you use this Summon Almirage Search Multi-Faker. So it's solid stuff, mostly because you want Multi-Faker in your hand anyhow. Sequidius, as a quick effect, lets you return one other Altergeist card you control to the hand, target a card your opponent controls, and return it to the hand. And if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target an Altergeist trap in your grave to add to your hand as a hard once per turn. So, the general disruption you're going to do is special summon Multi-Faker, use Multi-Faker to summon Sequidius, Sequidius bounce Multi-Faker back to your hand to send something. Hopefully you also have a protocol for a negate for that Sequidius. So generally speaking, you'll have about 2 disruptions there, so that's pretty good. Now we have Miluseek, which is level 1, so usable to summon stuff like Almirage and Linkuriboh. But Miluseek can attack directly, and when it attacks directly, you can target a card your opponent controls to send to the graveyard. And if it is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add an Altergeist monster from your deck to your hand, except for itself, as once again a hard once per turn. So, another very good card. You can use to summon Almirage or Linkuriboh, or you can just set it and let it be crashed into. All ways to get to Multi-Faker, or if you already have Multi-Faker, Marionetter, or if you already have Marionetter, Conquery. So, good stuff, good stuff. And our last is Altergeist Pixiel. This one is used less often, but if you're looking for more ways to get to Multi-Faker, I would say this is definitely worth running at 1 or 2. But let's go over its spectral facts. On the field, you can tribute it to excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and then add an excavated Altergeist card to your hand from those, the rest being sent to the graveyard. So, yeah, it's another way to get to multi-figure pretty much. It doesn't really come up super often, but it's not bad. It's not a bad card by any means, and it is another thing we can use to make Link Crew if we want to. So yeah, pretty solid stuff. Now for our spell lineup, which is admittedly pretty small. We have one for one, free pot of extravagance. You can replace this with any other draw card you want. I just do this because the extra deck isn't as important with the spell. And free called by the grave because we have search options. We would rather them not get ashed. Yeah, one for one is mostly so we can get a monster on field. It can give us our Pixiel. It can give us our Miloseek. So it's good, though it's definitely replaceable. And now for our trap lineup, which is pretty large. Let's go over the generic stuff first, though. So we have free storing Mirror Force because I like to not die by battle, and this deck struggles with not dying by battle sometimes. We have free Trap Drake to search out all our normal traps. And their last generic trap is Torrential Tribute. Again, sort of another disruption. It's good to be able to Dark Hole during your opponent's turn is basically what it comes down to, and it is actually pretty scary for some people. Now for the Altergeist traps. We have Altergeist Materialization. It's basically called by the grave for Altergeist, so it's searchable. However, it special summons the monster in attack position, and you also have the ability to banish this card from your graveyard to target a Altergeist trap in the grave to put it back into your hand. We have Altergeist Protocol, which is the continuous trap. It prevents the negation of Altergeist monster card effects, on the field. And when the opponent activates a monster effect, you can send another face-up Altergeist card you control to the grave to negate the activation and destroy that card as a hard one's return. So generally speaking, if you open up with a way to get to Multi-Faker and Protocol, that's kind of the ideal hand. Then we also have personal spoofing, a Altergeist trap, despite not being called Altergeist. It's a continuous trap that once per turn lets you shuffle a Altergeist card from your hand or field into the deck to add a Altergeist monster from the deck to hand. So it's sorta Rhoda for the deck. Again, it's another way to get to Multi-Faker, so kind of figured out Multi-Faker at one, not nearly as big a deal as I thought it was going to be. There's just so many ways to get to it, honestly. But yeah. So that's the main deck. Generally speaking, what you want is, like I said, a way to get to Multi-Faker as well as Protocol. That's sort of the best you can get, or sort of the minimum to make good plays. I'll say that. But yeah, now for the extra deck, which is less important, we have Link Karibo. It stops you from being OTK'd. It's very makeable with our various level 1 monsters, and if you make it with Miloseek, you get a search, which is pretty nice. Almirage, it's another easy to make Link 1. You can make it with Miloseek if you want to. You can make it with Sangan to get a search of the Multi-Faker. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good Link 1 to have. We have free Altergeist Hextia. This one doesn't really come up, but we will go over it. Requires 2 Altergeist monsters, and it gains attack equal to the original attack of each Altergeist monster it points to, which, based on its arrows, is always going to be 1 at most. And when a spell or trap is activated, as a quick effect, you contribute a Altergeist monster this card points to negate the activation and destroy the card. And if it's sent from the field to the grave, you can add an Altergeist card from your deck to your hand. So, again, the extra doesn't come up, but Hexia is a very good card. And if you can summon it, it is kind of nice to have the negate. And then we have 2 of each of our Nightmare packets for the monster removal, the spell trap removal, and just the spins. We run them at 2 each because we do not want to potentially banish all of them off of Extravagance, and that makes it elementals likely. So, extra deck, pretty basic stuff. Let's go over the side deck real fast, though. So we have 2 Dark Holes for field wipes, 3 Forbidden Chalice for negations during our turn, and because, it is a nice little budget option, besides infinite permanence. Free Twin Twisters because spell trap removal is valuable. One Altergeist Haunted Rock because it is searchable, and in a super trap heavy matchup, well, against another super trap heavy deck, it is kind of nice to have that trap negation if you need it. Free Solemn Strike for some counter trap action. Uh, two Solemn Judgment because it's an Omni negate, it's pretty good. And our one of Solemn Warning because it stops more things. Uh, yeah, it's good to have it one. It stops some very specific key situations against more rogue tier decks, so it is pretty good to have. But yeah, not much to talk about with the side deck. It's all pretty basic stuff. But yeah, that's the deck profile. If you're new here, we just watch a few replays. I go over the combos, things that went well, things that didn't go well, stuff like that. And yeah, we actually have like a lot of really good replays this time because this deck better than I thought. But we are only going to be going over 3 replays for this, though there are more though. There are more, but only 3 this time. The 3 I very much liked. But yeah. That being said, I'll see you guys in the replay. All right, everyone. Welcome to the first replay with Red Sky. We are Computer Wife, and we actually did manage to go first, and we opened up very well. As I mentioned in the deck profile, a way to get to Multi-Faker and Protocol is pretty much the best possible scenario, and Red Sky is playing Guru Control. As you can see, there are floodgates, and I am super excited for this replay. So let's just get right into it. So we're just going to go Link Karibo. Link Karibo gets us the Multi-Faker, set the Protocol. We're good to go there. Then during our standby, we will go ahead activate Protocol, which will let us summon the Multi-Faker, which will then give us the Sequidius from deck. And from there, we are safe from OTKing pretty much. We have a bounce, and we have a monster effect negate. So that's pretty good. Pretty solid stuff. And having the Conquery in hand also means we have a little bit of extra battle protection and effect negation if we need it. Obviously, it will not come up against our opponent. But yeah, so he's going to go ahead and use Pod Duality, adds the Hidden City. Hidden City will activate Searching Fiendus. He'll go ahead and try to use Hidden City to flip the Guru. We're going to go ahead and bounce that Guru because he cannot use the Fiendus right now. So he will not be able to get that flip. Since he does not have his normal summon anymore, no Fiendus set. However, he does have double Judgment as well as double There Can Only Be One. So we're in a bit of a rough spot ourselves here. So we're going to go ahead and summon Marionetter. He uses the There Can Only Be One. I thought he only had There Can Only Be One. So I went ahead and bounced the Protocol to try to bounce that back to hand so we could just continue to make plays. However, he had another one, unfortunately. So we go ahead and get rid of the Sequidius. We're probably not going to need it anymore. But we do get the materialization out of deck because we already have the Protocol. Yeah, so we just go ahead and attack for a bit of damage. Not much. We go ahead and make the Phoenix to try to pop the There Can Only Be One, as well as clearing the field so that our Multi-Faker will be live in hand. However, he is going to Solemn Judgment. We are fine with that. Yeah, so our opponent now goes, we use the materialization and chain it with the Protocol. Materialization will bring back the Sequidius. So now we do have a bounce on board. So unfortunately, that's all we can really do under There Can Only Be One at the moment. So he's going to go ahead and summon Guru. We are going to go ahead and try to bounce that Guru by bouncing back the Protocol. He's going to use Fiendus. We get negated, unfortunately. So he's going to get the flip from Hidden City. Go ahead and search the Cave Clash. Cave Clash attacks over Sequidius. And he is going to get the Fiendus back. But we got our materialization back. So we're fine-ish. And we did get the Extravagance, which is pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and do it. Banish 6. He's going to go ahead and use Fiendus to negate, which is fine by us. Go ahead and just set the Sangon as well as a couple cards. Now he drew the Fiendus, unfortunately for us, but we will Materialization to go ahead and bounce back this Guru of his. So he has to do some resetting shenanigans, so he's going to go ahead and try to go ahead and do some stuff with Hidden City. However, we do not have another monster, so we can go ahead and summon our Multi-Faker. We have the Sangon on field. We do have a negate, thankfully, now up with the protocol. So he is going to go ahead and try to use Guru's effect. So we will go ahead and send our Multi-Faker to the graveyard to negate that Guru. He's going to try to negate with Fiendus, but he cannot do that because the protocol keeps us from being negated. So yeah, he's going to lose his Guru, and he's going to go ahead and pass turn because he does not have much he can do right now. So we go ahead and flip Sangon, summon the Squidius, which is pretty good, I think. And we're just going to go ahead and attack for some damage. Then we were back to our opponent. We have the materialization set just in case. And he has a pod duality, which would normally be great, but he has nothing he can get rid of. So yeah, he just surrenders at that point, and this is why I love that replay. So it was against another control deck, and we were under floodgates the whole time. I want to point that out. Like, normally the decks I make, they lose pretty hard to floodgates, like a lot of decks do. But we were under a floodgate this entire game, and it didn't even hurt really. Okay, we crushed it this time, and I just love that. Okay, this is what kind of really impressed me about the deck. Floodgates and Floodgate-esque cards did not hurt it a whole lot. But yeah, so that was the first replay. The second, we're going to show you sort of what happens when the deck doesn't have a multi-faker and just sort of some of the plays it can make, because I feel like that is valuable to represent. And yeah, I'll see you guys there. All right, going to the second replay with player. Our opponent here is using a Mechanic Invoke deck. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. We opened up. It's not super good to open the Sequidius, but we had the personal spoofing, so it's fine. Plus draw power and a way to get to the multi-vigor, so we're fine. And this replay, you're gonna see what happens when this deck sort of loses its multi-vigor access for initially, anyways. So yeah, we are going first. So we go ahead and use the Pot of Extravagance, as we have to do that first. We get another Pot of Extravagance and a Storm Mirror Force, which is pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and summon Miluseek, make a Link Karibo, search the Multi-Faker, set Spoofing, as well as Storming Mirror Force, and we are done with our turn there. Again, standby, we will use Personal Spoofing. Go ahead and get rid of the Sequidius to search the Marionetter. And then we get to summon our Multi-Faker. Multi-Faker is going to attempt to summon from deck. However, our opponent does have the Super Poly and is going to make the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. So, I'd say honestly a solid use of the Super Poly. I think that was definitely worthwhile. So we had to change our plans a little bit because we do not have another Altergeist card to bounce. So we went ahead, just brought out the Miluseek, hopefully floating into another Altergeist card. So our opponent is going to use the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon to gain some effects, as well as going to go ahead and use Call to banish our Multi-Faker. So, as you can see, things immediately not going super great for us. But yeah, main phase 1, he's going to go ahead and do some Mechanite Invoked combos. It makes the Alistair the Meltdown Invoker, makes the Millennium Eyes Restrict to protect himself from hand traps. A smart play on his part. He will be getting another invocation though. So he's going to make the Mechaba, use invocation to get back the Alistair, and then he is going to go for the Nightmare Phoenix to pop our Storming Mirror Force, which is unfortunate. We do have the Conquery, though, to negate that attack and negate the Mechaba's effects for now. So he's going to go ahead and attack over that, and that's his turn. So honestly, he didn't do terribly. It was like, I guess getting rid of the Storing Mirror Force was good, but if it were me in that position, I probably would have just held on to Alistair, but that's just me. So it is our turn, and we are going to go ahead and use the Pot of Indulgence to draw into Double Called. We use the Link Karibo from the graveyard to revive itself by tributing the Miluseek. Miluseek gets us to search at the Pixel, and we're going to use Spoofing to go ahead and put back, it was a Squidius, I believe, to go ahead and search. So now we summon the Miluseek. Miluseek will attack directly, actually. And we're going to use Miluseek to go ahead and just send Mechaba to the grave, which is a pretty good use of the Miluseek, I think. Now we're going to make our own Phoenix, dropping the Called to pop the Magical Meltdown, which is pretty worthwhile. And now he cannot crash because our Phoenixes are co-linked. So yeah, we do have the Called set though, which is pretty good. He has a Super Poly. He cannot crash, so he just passes turn. We're going to go ahead and use Personal Spoofing to get a Sequidius. Now we will summon our Marionetter to set the materialization. Going into the Unicorn. Unicorn's effect will send the Sequidius. And now we just attack directly for a little bit of damage. Go ahead, set the Protocol, which is pretty good. He sets 2, passes. Now I think that was kind of a misplay on his part. If he had just I think it might have been better to just set the Super Poly, but I don't know, maybe not. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and use Protocol to... he's going to use Called. Here, we did misplay a little bit. I targeted the other Miluseek because I thought I could get its effects. That was my bad, though. So he's going to go ahead and Called. We now have a negated Miluseek. We can't really get a search off of it now. So we just attack for some damage. And then we use Link Karibo to go ahead and attack for a little bit more damage in the battle phase. And we're going to set the Pot of Extravagance to try to look threatening. He activates the Meltdown. We went ahead and banished the Alistair so he could not get searches off of its summon. So he is getting an Alistair back. We shuffle back the Protocol because we do not have any Altergeist cards to send to negate. So you're just grabbing a Marionetter. He now has an Alistair, which is negated. He's Super Polys for the Kaliga. So, you know, it's a pretty wide net of effect negation, which is fair. Altergeist, not known for their massive attack points, but so stopping the effect activations, pretty good stuff on our friend player here. So yeah, he's going to go ahead and... So yeah, we're going to go ahead and just summon Marionetter, set Materialization, set Storming, be pretty good. He's going to banish it, go ahead and get the Blue Sky good to go. So we're going to be tributing the Link Karibo. Or actually, no, we tribute the Link Karibo and then we use the Storming Mirror Force because turns out that's how you have to do it. So we do get to Storming Mirror Force our opponent, and at that point the replay ended. You cannot summon Mech Knights more than once per turn with their effects. So we would have been able to just attack for game next turn anyway. So, yeah, the deck can defend pretty solidly even without Multi-Faker. Like, certainly having the Multi-Faker does help, but the deck can still do some things without it. Now, we have one more replay. It is going to be against Salamangreat, and it is going to just sort of show that this deck, despite being still very much viable, I think, it does have a tendency to get potentially out-resourced. But you know what? You're going to see that in the next replay, and I'll see you guys there. Alright, welcome to the final replay with Team Debake. We did manage to go first, and we opened up decently. We opened up pretty decently, but yeah, we're going to go first here. So we summon Miluseek, you know, do standard combinations here. Have the Trap Trick set, which is pretty good. The Personal Spoofing, just to look scary pretty much. and the Altergeist protocol for extra disruption. So we're in a solid spot here. Our opponent draws the Gazelle. Drawing the Gazelle on his end didn't matter because, as you see, he did have the Salamangreat circle, which he is going to go ahead and chain to our protocol. And he's going to be adding a card. We go ahead and Trap Trick for Torrential Tribute. So he adds the Foxy, which is a fair enough add. Our protocol resolved. We now get the Multi-Faker summons Sequidius, and we now have Torrential Tribute, Double Disruption, as well as a OTK prevention. So pretty good board here, I think. So our opponent's going to summon Foxy. Go ahead and use that to make Veilings. Now here, with Salamangreat, you can do one of two things. You can stop the Veilings, or you can stop the Sunlight Wolf. I tried to stop the Veilings. We're going to tribute our protocol. That way we'll still have a bounce with Sequidius. However, he's going to call by the grave our multi-figure, which is unfortunate. However, we did stop him from getting the Sanctuary, but he is, unfortunately for us, going to get the Gazelle special summon. So we go ahead and bounce back Gazelle. He had the Foul in hand, though, which is unfortunate for us. I feel like without that Foul, our team debate here, his plays would have been stopped, but is unfortunately how things go sometimes. So he sends the Roar, makes another Phalanx, brings back his Spenny, goes ahead and battles, getting rid of the Link Karibo, which is fine. So he's going to go ahead and make the Nightmare Phoenix to try to target our Torrential Tribute, which we are going to go ahead and just say no to. So yeah, he has a Gazelle in hand. We have a search. We do have a search, but we did get Marionetter, so we are fine. Marionetter will get us the materialization, and we're just going to attack directly. So that's kind of another big problem with this deck. It can be a little hard to capitalize at times. And yeah, but we're going to go ahead and get Protocol as well as Materialization to get the Squidius back. So we're still in an okay spot here. So we're going to go ahead and try to negate that Gazelle. He did prevent its destruction with the Veilings, though, and he's going to get the Spinny back, which is unfortunate. So he does make the Mirage Stalio. I don't know why I could not chain to its summon. If I could have, I would have, but we are going to go ahead and bounce back the protocol to bounce the Mirage Stalio. He will get a summon, though, which is unfortunate of the Jack. And he has yet another Phalanx. 3 Phalanx. I don't know if that's the proper ratio, but you know what? Team D-Bake is figuring it out, so I'm sure maybe 3 is correct. But yeah, Foxy, we're going to go ahead and use Personal Spoofing to shuffle back our materialization. And we are going to get ashed, unfortunately. He is getting Foxy, which does pop our Personal Spoofing. And now he is just going to go ahead and freaking recover. So he has the negate, which is fine on him. We have the Conqueror here. We could have... Okay, so this was my bad. I misread Conqueror this game, and I thought like, oh, if he attacks, I'll just be able to use Conqueror's effect and be fine. But I was very wrong on that. So what I should have done there is use 1-for-1 to get Miluseek or Pixel, and then I could have done stuff. I could have done stuff, but I messed up that one. That was on me. But yeah, so it is our opponent's turn. We go ahead and use the protocol, attempting to bait out the roar, which works. Again, I misread Conqueror, so very sorry about that. So yeah, protocol gets negated. Then our opponent's going to do his thing of Salamangreat plays, whiffs the Foxy, makes the Heat Leo to shuffle back the 1-for-1. I still thought we were fine, honestly. We were not, though. And our opponent is, building a board. So that's Salamangreat recoverability. always very impressive, and we're just going to lose there. So yeah, that's kind of again, that's sort of what I think the problem with this deck is. It's not very good at capitalizing after it's, say, blew out a board or something. So you really, Altergeist players, let me know if there's some way to capitalize that maybe I'm just not thinking of, because if that's the case, I really think this could be like a top tier hyper contending deck, or this archetype anyways, and I do like my build of it. But I feel like this could be really like a real contender if they had a way to really just kind of push for more of game. But yeah, that was the deck and replays. Let me know what you guys think of it. If you have any decks you want me to play, any ways I can make this better, any ways that I did well, didn't do well, so on and so forth on that front. And yeah, that being said, like if you liked, comment if you have something to say, and subscribe if you want some more. This has been Ronin, signing off.